That's what it means to be human. We don't abandon our own. Ever, Yuna cried. But this time they were good tears. Dawn came cold over the red desert. Taiyang walked alone toward the colony gates. Behind him, 15,000 humans watched in silence. Above him, the colony walls rose high, built to keep danger out. Now they just kept everyone trapped together. Governor Krenth waited at the gate with his security detail. 20 armed guards surrounded him. Taiyang came with nothing but the clothes on his back and determination in his eyes. "You said come alone," Krenth said, gesturing at the guards. "I did not." "I noticed," Taiyang replied calmly. "Afraid of one unarmed human? I'm cautious of 15,000 who can shut down my colony with a button press." Krenth stepped forward. Up close, he towered over Taiyang by 3 feet. Most humans found Velkari intimidating. Taiyang just looked tired. "What do you want?" "Dignity," Taiyang said. "Fair wages. Basic needs guaranteed. Safety for all human workers across the galaxy. Freedom to leave when we choose." Krenth laughed. "That's all? Why not ask for the galaxy itself?" "We don't want the galaxy. We just want to be treated like people instead of tools. You are workers. You work. You get paid. That's the arrangement." "The arrangement is broken," Taiyang said. "You steal our wages with false charges. You deny us food while throwing yours away. You mock us when we beg for scraps to feed our children. That ends now." "Or what? You'll break more systems? Kill us all by shutting down life support?" "No," Taiyang said quietly. "We'd never do that. We're not like you." The words hung in the air. Krenth felt something like anger rise in his chest. "Not like me? I'm governor of this colony. I maintain order. I keep systems running. You maintain nothing," Taiyang interrupted. "We do. Humans. The ones you don't see. The ones cleaning your air filters at midnight, fixing your water pipes in spaces too small for your bodies, monitoring systems while you sleep. We're the invisible foundation holding everything up, and you never noticed until we stopped." Krenth wanted to argue but couldn't. It was true. He hadn't thought about maintenance in years. Systems just worked. Problems got fixed. By someone. He had never cared who. "So this is blackmail," Krenth said. "Do what we want, or we destroy everything." "This is reality," Taiyang corrected. "You need us. We don't need you. We can live without this colony. Can you live without us?" Before Krenth could answer, one of his advisors approached. A dresh with green scales and cautious eyes. "Governor, I need to speak with you. Privately." They stepped aside. The advisor spoke in low tones that Taiyang could not hear, but he saw Krenth's expression change. Surprise, confusion, then anger. When Krenth returned, his face was harder. "It seems your people have been busy. We just discovered backdoors in our communication systems, planted years ago. How long have you been planning this?" Taiyang smiled slightly. "We weren't. One of our people, Quan, worked as a communications technician for 5 years. He was just lonely, bored. So he tinkered, created access points in case he ever needed them. He didn't know why, just felt like the smart thing to do." Taiyang paused. "That's what you never understood about humans. We plan for things we hope we'll never need. We prepare for disasters we don't want to face. Not because we're paranoid, because we care about survival. Because we protect our own." "Your own," Krenth repeated. "She's not your own. That woman, Yuna, you don't know her. Most of your people here have never met her. Why risk everything for a stranger?" "She's not a stranger," Taiyang said. "She's human. That's enough." "That makes no sense. My species would never—" "Exactly," Taiyang said. "Your species wouldn't. Neither would most in the galaxy. Your individuals or hive minds. You don't have what we have." "And what's that?" "Empathy beyond our immediate circle. We feel pain for people we've never met. We cry for children that aren't ours. We cross stars to help strangers. You think it's weakness. It's not. It's the reason we survived when stronger species died. It's the reason we're here now. A new voice joined the conversation. He's right. Everyone turned. Tix, the Chittick diplomat, approached with several others. Different species. I've been researching human history since uploading that video. Do you know what I found? Enlighten me, Krenth said coldly. Humans should have died out on their homeworld. Their planet had ice ages, droughts, predators stronger and faster than them. But they survived. Not through strength. Through cooperation. They hunted in packs, shared food even when it was scarce, protected each other's children as if they were their own. This behavior, Tix gestured at the human ships in the desert. This is not new. This is who they've always been. So they're sentimental, Krenth said. That doesn't make them powerful, doesn't it? Another voice asked. Wu Jin stepped forward from the human side. He was older, with gray hair and kind eyes. A teacher, a philosopher. Governor, let me ask you something. How many Velkari would come if you called for help? I don't understand the question. If you were starving, if your child was dying, how many of your species would cross the galaxy to save you? Krenth opened his mouth, then closed it. The answer was none. Velkari were independent, proud. They helped family, perhaps. Close associates. But a stranger? Never. It would be illogical. Wu Jin nodded, seeing the realization. That's the difference. A human alone is weak, fragile, easy to break. But humans together, we're unstoppable. Because each of us knows, absolutely knows, that if we fall, others will come. That's not weakness. That's the most powerful thing in the galaxy. Pretty words, Krenth said. But I have warships arriving in 2 days, 3 of them, military grade. What will your philosophy do against that? Taeyang's expression didn't change. Those ships won't come. They're already in the system. Check again. Krenth pulled up his datapad. His face went pale. The warships had changed course. They were heading away from Zareth 7, chasing a distress signal from a mining station 3 systems over. A signal that didn't exist. How? Krenth whispered. Quan, Taeyang said simply. Backdoors, remember? He sent new orders to your ships. Orders they think came from military command. By the time they realize it's false, they'll be too far away to help you. Krenth stared at the human before him. This simple, small being who should have been powerless. You hacked military communications? We told you, Taeyang said. We're everywhere, doing jobs you don't see, maintaining systems you take for granted. You made us invisible. We use that. The governor looked around at his guards, his advisors, the colony behind him. Everything suddenly felt fragile, vulnerable, like it could fall apart at any moment. Because it could. Without humans, it would. What happens now? Krenth asked quietly. You negotiate, Tix said. In good faith. Because if you don't, I'm broadcasting everything. This conversation, the video of Yuna begging, evidence of wage theft and abuse. The galaxy will see how you treat humans, and many species will question if they want to work with colonies that behave this way. Other alien delegates nodded. A Greshik merchant stepped forward. I'm already losing money from this disruption. If it continues, I'm moving my business elsewhere. Others will too. You'll have an empty colony with no workers and no economy. Krenth felt the ground shifting under him. He was losing, not through force, through something more subtle, more powerful. Public opinion, economic pressure, the realization that humans were not expendable. Fine, he said at last. What are your terms? They negotiated for 6 hours, back and forth, every detail recorded and witnessed by multiple species. Taeyang brought other humans into the discussion. Hyun for technical systems, Minji for healthcare, Bauman for worker rights. Each one knew their area perfectly. Each one refused to back down. The terms took shape. Immediate restoration of all stolen wages. Fair pay scales matching alien workers for equivalent jobs. Guaranteed food, water and shelter regardless of employment status. Right to leave contracts with reasonable notice, protection from false accusations, independent oversight of labor practices. Krenth tried to negotiate down. The humans wouldn't budge. This will set a precedent, Krenth warned. Humans across the galaxy will demand the same. Good, Taeyang said. They should. That's the point. It will cost corporations billions. Then they'll earn slightly fewer billions, Minji said. They'll survive. As the sun set on the second day, they had an agreement. The Zareth Accord, they called it. Named after the colony that would forever be remembered as the place where humans stopped accepting crumbs and demanded seats at the table. Krenth signed it. He had no choice. Not really. The alternative was watching his colony collapse. But as he signed, he made a decision. He activated a hidden communication channel, one Quan hadn't found. One that sent a message directly to Velkari Military Command. Real command this time. The message was simple. Send ships. Send soldiers. Send everyone. We need to crush this human uprising before it spreads. Krenth smiled as he signed the accord. Let the humans celebrate. Let them think they won. In 3 days, the real military would arrive, and then he would show these emotional, sentimental, weak little beings what happened when they challenged their betters. He would make an example of them all. What Krenth didn't know was that Yuna, the mother who started everything by asking for scraps, was standing nearby. Close enough to see his face. Close enough to see the satisfaction in his eyes. She had learned to read expression. The real military fleet arrived on the 3rd day after the signing. Not 3 ships like Krenth had originally requested. 12. Massive warships that dropped out of faster-than-light travel with weapons charged and shields active. They were not here to negotiate. They were here to end the human problem permanently. Alarms screamed across the colony. In the desert, humans looked up at the sky and saw death hovering above them. 12 warships against their few hundred civilian vessels. It was no contest. It was a slaughter waiting to happen. Taeyang received the communication directly. This is Fleet Commander Vorketh of the Velkari Defense Force. You have exactly 1 hour to surrender. Return control of all systems, board your ships, and leave this system. Any resistance will be met with lethal force. We signed an agreement, Taeyang said. That agreement is void. Governor Krenth signed under duress. It holds no legal authority. You have 59 minutes. The communication cut off. Taeyang stood in the center of the human camp. 15,000 faces looked at him. Scared faces. Angry faces. Determined faces. They had come so far. Done so much. And now it was all ending. What do we do? Yuna asked. Taeyang looked at Yuna, holding Hana. The little girl was healthy now. Smiling. Alive. He thought about sending them all away. Saving what they could. Running. But where would they run to? This would happen again. Somewhere else. To someone else. Another mother. Another child. The galaxy had to change. We have leverage, Taeyang said. Life support, water, food production. We can shut it all down. They'll kill us, Minji said quietly. Maybe. But they'll kill everyone in the colony too. Would they risk that? Yes, a new voice said. Everyone turned. Suji, a human who had been working as a systems analyst in the colony, pushed through the crowd. She had a datapad in her hands and tears on her face. I've been monitoring their communications. I hacked into their tactical network. They don't care about the colony. They're willing to let everyone die if it means stopping us. They'll evacuate the aliens they consider important and leave the rest. Silence fell over the camp. The weight of it was crushing. How long do we have? Taeyang asked. 43 minutes now. Taeyang looked at his people, his family, because that's what they were. Not by blood, not by species, by choice, by shared pain and shared hope. I won't tell anyone to stay, he said loudly. If you want to run, run. Get to your ships and jump to another system. Live, I won't blame you. This was always going to be dangerous. Nobody moved. I'm staying, Hyun said. Me too, Minji added. I didn't come here to run, Jinwoo said. One by one, voices called out. Staying, not leaving. Together, Yuna stepped forward with Hana. You came for us. For me. For my daughter. How can I leave you now? You have a child, Taeyang said gently. Get her to safety. And teach her what? That we abandon family when things get hard? No, we stay together. Taeyang felt something break and rebuild in his chest, pride, fear, love, all mixed together. Then we fight. But not the way they expect. What do you mean? Suji asked. We could shut down life support and let everyone die, Taeyang said. But we won't, we're not monsters. We're human, so we do the human thing. He looked at Minji. How many aliens in the colony would die if we cut life support? At least 200,000, Minji said. The sick. The young, the old. The ones in medical facilities or isolated sections. And we can target our shutdowns to specific areas? Yes, but Minji's eyes widened. You want to protect them? I want to show the galaxy who we are, Taeyang said. We shut down everything except the areas where vulnerable aliens are. We keep hospitals running. We keep nurseries powered. We keep the weak and helpless safe. And we broadcast it. Show everyone watching that we could kill them all, but we're choosing not to. That weakens our position, Suji protested. No, Woojin said, understanding. It strengthens it. It shows we're not the monsters they think we are. It shows mercy, compassion, the things they think make us weak. It might also get us killed, Yun pointed out. Probably, Taeyang agreed. But if we die proving we're better than them. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that changes something. The debate was fierce. Some argued for total shutdown, maximum pressure. Others agreed with Taeyang. They had 30 minutes left when they voted. The result was close but clear. They would show mercy even if it cost them everything. Hyun and his technical team went to work. They identified every hospital, every nursery, every care facility. They rerouted power to keep those places running at full capacity. Everything else got shut down to minimum levels. Not enough to kill, just enough to be uncomfortable. To show they could have done worse but chose not to, then they broadcast everything. Every camera they could hack, every communication channel. They showed the warships above, showed the humans below, showed what they were doing and why. Tix helped them, using diplomatic channels to spread the feed across the galaxy. Within minutes, billions of beings were watching, waiting to see what happened next. In the colony, Governor Krenth felt the systems shift. He pulled up diagnostics and saw what the humans had done. They had protected the vulnerable, kept the weak safe, even while facing death themselves. For the first time, he felt something like shame. On the lead warship, Fleet Commander Vorkith watched the same feeds. He was Velkari, proud, strong, logical. He had been ordered to eliminate the human threat by any means necessary. His weapons were armed. His crews were ready. He could fire and end this in seconds, but something made him hesitate. The humans below were protecting aliens, keeping them alive, even though those same aliens had starved them, beaten them, mocked them. The humans showed mercy. Vorkith had seen a lot in his military career. He had seen courage, seen desperation, seen rage, but he had never seen this. Never seen a species choose compassion when power was available, choose mercy when revenge was justified. Sir, his tactical officer said, we have firing solutions. All human ships targeted. Orders? Vorkith stared at the screen showing Yuna holding Hana, the woman who started everything by asking for leftovers. The child who was alive because thousands of humans had crossed the galaxy, a galaxy that had ignored her, failed her, hurt her, and still those humans chose not to hurt back. Stand down, Vorkith said quietly. Sir, stand down, he repeated louder. Lower weapons. Cancel attack protocols. Commander, our orders. I'm aware of our orders, Vorkith said, and I'm refusing them. Court-martial me if you must, but I won't fire on beings showing this much courage and mercy. The bridge fell silent. Then his tactical officer lowered weapons. His crew followed. One by one, they stood down. On the other warships, commanders watched what the flagship was doing. They had a choice. Follow orders or follow conscience. Most had never had to make that choice before. Orders were orders, simple, clear, but this was different. 8 of the remaining 11 warships stood down. 3 did not. 3 commanders decided to fire anyway, to follow orders regardless of conscience. But something happened then. Something the Velkari had never seen before. Alien crews mutinied. Chittic weapons officers refused to fire. Dresh navigators locked out targeting systems. Greshik engineers disabled weapons. All across those 3 ships, different species refused to kill the humans below. What's happening? One commander screamed.
This is treason.
This is right, a Chittick officer said simply. We won't murder beings for showing mercy. The mutiny spread. Within minutes, all 12 warships had stood down, not through military discipline but through moral choice. The galaxy was watching, making decisions, choosing sides. On Zareth 7, humans hardly dared to breathe. The weapons above them had powered down. They were alive. Still alive. Taeyang's communicator buzzed. Fleet Commander Vorketh's voice came through. I would like to speak with you, face to face. Will you come aboard my ship? Is this a trap? Taeyang asked. No, I give you my word as an officer. You will not be harmed. I just need to understand. I need to know why you showed mercy when you could have killed us all. Taeyang looked at his people. Yuna nodded encouragement. Go, she said. Tell them who we are. Taeyang took a shuttle up to the flagship. He walked through corridors filled with alien soldiers who could crush him with one hand. He was escorted to the bridge where Vorketh waited. The commander was massive, even for a Velkari, with scars marking decades of service. Why? Vorketh asked without preamble. You had us. You could have shut down everything. Let us suffocate. Instead, you protected our weak, kept our children safe. Why? Because killing innocents isn't strength, Taeyang said. It's cowardice. We came here for a child who was starving. How could we turn around and starve someone else's child? What would that make us? It would make you like everyone else in the galaxy, Vorketh said. Practical, logical, ruthless when necessary. Then I'm glad we're not like everyone else. Vorketh studied him for a long moment. You're either the bravest beings I've ever met or the most foolish. Maybe both, Taeyang said with a tired smile. I'm recommending full acceptance of the Zareth Accord to military command, Vorketh said. More than that, I'm recommending humans be granted full species rights across all Velkari territories. What you did today. He gestured at the screen showing the colony below. That deserves recognition. Respect. We just want to be treated fairly, Taeyang said. You'll get more than that. The ships landed in the open desert outside the colony walls. Not inside where they could be controlled, but outside where they had room to maneuver. Governor Krenth watched from his office window as hundreds of vessels touched down, kicking up massive clouds of red dust. Security forces surrounded the landing zones, weapons ready, but the humans did not come out shooting. They came out organized. Taeyang was the first to emerge from his ship. He was tall for a human, with broad shoulders and eyes that had seen military service. Behind him came Hyun, Minji, Jinwoo, and dozens of others. They wore no uniforms, carried no weapons. They were engineers, doctors, pilots, workers, ordinary people who had crossed the galaxy for a woman and child they had never met. This is Governor Krenth, a voice boomed across the desert from loudspeakers. You are trespassing on colony territory. State your purpose or you will be removed by force. Taeyang stepped forward. He raised one hand to show he was unarmed, then spoke into a small communicator that broadcast his voice back to the colony. We're here for our people. We're here to bring them home. What people? Krenth demanded. All of them. Every human on this colony. They're leaving with us. In his office, Krenth laughed. It was a harsh sound. They have contracts, jobs. They can't just leave. Watch us, Taeyang said. Krenth ordered security to advance. 300 armed aliens moved toward the human ships. The humans did not retreat. They did not raise weapons. They just stood there waiting. Last warning, Krenth's voice said. Leave or face consequences. Taeyang looked at Hyun and nodded. Hyun pulled out his data pad and tapped a single command. Inside the colony, something changed. Not all at once, slowly. The water recycling system that turned waste into clean drinking water shut down. Not completely. Just enough to reduce output by 40%. Aliens would notice it. They would feel it. In his office, Krenth's assistant burst in. Governor, we have a problem with water recycling. Fix it, Krenth said, still watching the humans outside. We're trying, sir. The system is locked. We need override codes. Then use them. They're not working. Someone changed them. Krenth spun around. What? More alarms started ringing throughout the colony. Life support buffers went to minimum settings. Not dangerous, not yet, but uncomfortable. The air would be thinner. The temperature would fluctuate. Small things. Annoying things. Things that added up. Then the food production system started showing errors. Automated gardens stopped watering cycles. Processing plants slowed production. Again, Not completely shut down, just enough to create shortages, to make everyone nervous. Krenth pulled up system diagnostics on his screen. Error after error scrolled past. All critical systems were degrading, all at once. This was not random. This was coordinated. This was sabotage. How? He whispered. Then he understood. Humans. Humans ran maintenance on all these systems. They were the janitors who cleaned the filters, the technicians who serviced the computers, the workers who crawled through pipes and wiring that aliens found too cramped. They were everywhere in the infrastructure, doing jobs that were beneath alien notice. Until now, Krenth opened communications with the human ships again. What have you done? Nothing permanent, Taeyang replied calmly. Everything can be fixed easily, you just need the right codes, the right knowledge. The right people. You're holding us hostage. No, you've been holding our people hostage for years. We're just reminding you that you need us. Inside the colony, humans were gathering in the main square. Yuna carried Hana on her hip, weak as she was, and joined the crowd. Hundreds of human workers stood together. Some looked scared. Others looked determined. All of them looked hopeful. Bowman, who had quit her job on another world and made it here just in time, climbed onto a platform. She spoke loudly so everyone could hear. Brothers and sisters, help has arrived. We're leaving this place, all of us, together. What about our contracts? Someone shouted. Broken, Bowman said. What about our rights? What about the fact that they steal our wages, deny us food, mock our children? Those contracts are worth nothing. Alien security forces moved toward the square. A Velkari captain raised a weapon. Disperse now! The humans did not move. I said disperse! Taeyang's voice came through every speaker in the colony. He had hacked into the communication system. Another thing humans maintained that aliens had stopped thinking about. If you harm any human, if you fire a single shot, every system in this colony goes dark. Total shutdown. You'll have 6 hours of life support, maybe less. Is that what you want? The Velkari captain froze. He looked at his weapon, then at the crowd of humans. Hundreds of eyes stared back at him. He slowly lowered his gun. Governor Krenth knew he was losing control. He called an emergency meeting with his advisors. They gathered in his office, representatives from all the major alien species on the colony. Velkari Dresh Chitik Greshik, the powerful and the privileged. We should attack now, a Dresh military officer said. Crush them before they cause more damage. And if they shut down life support completely? A Greshik merchant asked. My shipments will spoil. My investments will be lost. This is about more than investments, Krenth said. This is about showing the galaxy what happens when inferior species challenge their betters. Inferior? The Chitik delegate Tix spoke up. The same one who had recorded Yuna's plea. I have been watching these humans. I uploaded that video thinking it showed weakness, but perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps we all were? Wrong? Krenth stared. They're emotional, irrational. They crossed the galaxy for one child. Exactly, Tix said. They crossed the galaxy for one child. Do you understand what that means? A species that will do that is not weak. It's terrifying. The room went quiet. Tix continued. We saw them as individuals. We saw them as scattered. We never saw them as they truly are. A collective, a tribe. You hurt one and they all feel it. You threaten one and they all respond. This was never about one mother and child. It was about all of them. So what do you suggest? Krenth asked. Negotiate. Give them what they want. Never, Krenth said. I'll call for military support. 3 warships can be here in 2 days. Do what you must, Tix said. But I'm leaving this colony. I suspect many others will too. The Chitik delegate left. Several others followed. Krenth's control was crumbling. Outside, the humans waited. Not patiently. They were hungry, tired, scared. But they waited. Taeyang had told them to hold position. Trust the plan. So they did. Minji moved through the crowd with medical supplies. She found Yuna and Hana among the others. The little girl was so thin it hurt to look at her. Minji knelt down and pulled out food packets from her bag. Real food, protein bars, fruit paste, water purifiers. Here, Minji said gently. Eat slowly. Your stomach isn't used to it. Yuna took the food with shaking hands. She helped Hana eat first, small bites, watching carefully to make sure she did not choke. Then she ate. The food tasted like heaven, like hope, like life. Thank you, Yuna whispered through tears. Thank you for coming. Thank the galaxy for being stupid enough to record you, Minji said with a sad smile. Thank yourself for having the courage to ask. You started this. I just wanted food for my daughter, and now 15,000 humans are here to make sure she eats. That's what we do. That's who we are. Night fell on Zareth 7. The humans lit fires in the desert. The colony above them flickered with reduced power. Systems still struggling, water still limited, food production still crippled. But not dangerous, not yet. Taiyang had been very careful about that. They were not killers. They were not monsters. They were just done being treated as less than nothing. In the desert camp, someone started singing, an old Earth song about standing together. Others joined in. The sound carried across the sand up to the colony walls into the streets where frightened aliens heard it and wondered what it meant. It meant humans had arrived. And they were not leaving without their family. Governor Krenth stared at his screens showing the fires below. He had sent messages to military command requesting support. Warships would arrive soon. 3 of them. Enough firepower to level those ships and everyone in them. The humans would surrender or die. But a small voice in his head wondered if that was true. Would they surrender, or would they shut down life support and let everyone die together? He did not know. He had never tried to understand humans before. Never thought it mattered. Now it was all that mattered. He typed a message. I will meet with your leaders, tomorrow, dawn. Come alone and unarmed. The message sent. He waited for a response. It came quickly. Agreed. But we're bringing proof. Proof of what? Proof that you need us more than we need you. Krenth did not understand what that meant. He would find out in the morning. For now, he watched the fires burn below and wondered how it had come to this, how humans, the species everyone dismissed, had brought his entire colony to its knees without firing a single shot. In the desert, Yuna held Hana close. Her daughter was sleeping peacefully for the first time in 2 weeks. Her belly was full. She was safe, surrounded by humans who had come from across the stars just to help. Did you really cross the galaxy for us? Yuna whispered to Minji, who sat nearby. Minji looked at her with serious eyes. For you. For Hana. For every human who was told they don't matter, yes, we crossed the galaxy. We'd cross 1,000 more if we had to. Yuna's hands shook as she stood outside the metal doors. 3 days. 3 days since her daughter Hana had eaten anything real. The little girl pressed against her mother's leg, too weak now to even cry. Her small stomach had stopped growling hours ago, which scared Yuna more than the noise ever had. The mining colony of Zareth 7 was not a kind place. Massive gray buildings stretched across the red desert planet, built by aliens who came here to dig precious metals from the ground. Humans worked here too, but they were always at the bottom. The lowest jobs, the smallest rooms, the least respect. Yuna had worked in the recycling center for 2 years. 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, sorting through waste that the alien species did not want to touch. The pay was barely enough, but it kept her and Hana alive. It gave them food credits. In this place, everything ran on credits. No credits meant no food, no water, no medicine, nothing. But 3 days ago, everything changed. A Velkari supervisor named Drennick claimed that Yuna had stolen equipment. She had not. She would never. But her word meant nothing against his. They took her credits. All of them. Wiped her account clean as punishment. They said she could earn them back slowly, but slowly meant weeks. Hana could not wait weeks. The dining facility in front of her served the Velkari officers. They were tall beings nearly 8 feet high with gray skin that looked like stone and eyes that glowed a soft blue. They ran most of the colony. They had power. They had food. Lots of food. Yuna had watched through the windows earlier. She saw them eating, laughing, throwing away plates still half full of strange colored meats and breads. Food that would feed her daughter for days just tossed into the waste. It made her angry. It made her desperate. It made her do something she never thought she would do. She would beg. The doors slid open with a hiss. Warm air hit her face, carrying smells of cooked food that made her empty stomach hurt. Inside, several Velkari sat at long tables. They turned to look at her. Their faces showed surprise, then disgust. A human in their space. How dare she? Get out, one of them said in the common galactic language. His translator device on his collar turned the clicks and hums into words she could understand. Please, Yuna said. Her voice came out small, weak. She hated how she sounded. Please, I just need out! The Velkari stood up. He was huge, towering over her. But Yuna saw the plates behind him. Food, So much food. Please, may I have the leftovers for my child? The words tumbled out. Una felt Hana grip her leg tighter.
We haven't eaten in 3 days.
Just the scraps. Just what you're throwing away, please. The room went quiet. Every Velkari stared at her. Then one of them laughed. It was Drennick, the same one who had taken her credits. He stood and walked over, looking down at her with those glowing blue eyes. You interrupt our meal to beg? He said it loud, making sure everyone heard. This is why humans don't belong here. Too emotional, too weak. You waste resources on single offspring when you could produce many. She's my daughter, Una whispered. She's hungry. Then work harder, Drennick said. Earn your credits. That's how the system works. You took my credits, Una said, finding a bit of anger to fuel her words, for something I didn't do. Prove it, Drennick smiled. It was not a kind smile. Oh wait, you can't. Human word against Velkari testimony. Who do you think they'll believe? Una's shoulders dropped. She knew he was right. She had no power here, no voice. She was nothing to them. But Hana needed food. Her little girl needed to eat. Please, she said again. One more time. Just the leftovers. Just the scraps you're going to throw away anyway. Drennick looked at her for a long moment. Then he turned and walked to his table. Una felt hope flutter in her chest. He picked up his plate, still half full of food. He walked toward her. The hope grew. Then he walked past her to the waste incinerator on the wall. He dumped the plate inside. The food disappeared in flames. He turned back to her with that same smile. No leftovers, he said. Now get out before I have you arrested for trespassing. Something broke inside Una. Not her spirit, not yet. But something. She felt it crack like glass. She picked up Hana, who barely weighed anything now, and turned to leave. That's when she noticed the small creature in the corner. It looked like an insect, but the size of a large dog with multiple eyes on a triangular head. A chitik, one of the diplomat species that moved between worlds. It had been sitting there the whole time, eating quietly. The chitik watched her leave with its many eyes. In one of its 6 arms, it held a small device. A recording device. It had captured everything. Every word. Every moment. Una did not know this would matter. She was too tired, too hungry, too defeated to care about being recorded. She carried Hana back to their small room in the human quarters. The walls were thin metal. The bed was a hard platform, but it was theirs. She laid Hana down and gave her water. At least water was free, pumped from underground reserves. Hana drank a little and closed her eyes. Mama, she whispered. My tummy hurts. I know, baby, Una said, lying down next to her. She wrapped her arms around her daughter. I know, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She did not sleep that night. She lay there in the dark, listening to Hana breathe, feeling her tiny body against hers. She thought about her choices. She could steal food, but if caught, they would send her to prison. Then what would happen to Hana? She could try to get on a transport ship, but they checked credits before boarding. She could try to find work elsewhere, but every job required a clean record. Drennick had made sure hers was marked. She felt trapped, powerless, invisible. Above them, in a ship preparing to leave the colony, the Chitic diplomat named Tix reviewed the recording. The human female begging, the Velkari officer laughing, the food being burned rather than given. It was perfect. Perfect evidence of what Tix had been sent to document, the weakness of human species. Their emotional attachment to offspring, their inability to function logically in harsh conditions. Tix uploaded the video to the Galactic Network with a simple title, Human Inefficiency Display, Zareth 7 Colony. It was meant to be a footnote in a larger report, a small example among many. Tix had no idea what was about to happen. The video began to spread across the network, jumping from world to world at the speed of light. And somewhere out in the galaxy, humans began to see it. One by one, they watched a mother beg for scraps to feed her child. They watched her be denied. They watched her be mocked, and something ancient woke up inside them. Something that had kept their species alive through ice ages and droughts and predators. Something that made them human. Una did not know any of this yet. She just held her daughter and tried not to cry. She tried to be strong. She tried to think of a solution. She had no idea that help was already coming. From everywhere. From worlds she had never heard of. From humans she would never meet. They were coming. All of them. The video took 6 hours to reach the core worlds. In that time, it passed through communication relays, data hubs, and information markets, most beings scrolled past it. Another human struggling. Nothing new. The galaxy had seen it before, but then a human saw it. Hyun was an engineer on Brandis Station, a massive orbital platform that serviced merchant ships. He was good at his job, very good. The station masters paid him well because he could fix problems that stumped their best alien technicians. He had a nice apartment, good food. Respect, at least more than most humans got. He was drinking coffee, scrolling through the network during his break when the video appeared. The title meant nothing to him. He almost skipped it. But something made him tap it. Maybe the thumbnail showing a human face. He watched Yuna beg. He watched Drennick laugh. He watched the food burn. Hyun watched it again. Then again. He watched it 17 times before his break ended. Each time he felt something growing inside him. Anger. Disgust. But more than that. Recognition. That could have been his mother when he was young. That could have been his sister. That could have been any human child anywhere. He stood up from his seat and walked straight to his supervisor's office. "I quit," he said. The supervisor, a four-armed Greshik with green scales, looked up in surprise. "What? Why?" "We just gave you a raise." "I have to go," Hyun said. He did not explain. He could not explain, not in a way they would understand. Across the galaxy, the same scene repeated itself. Different humans, different worlds, same reaction. Minji was a medical officer on a luxury cruise ship that traveled between rich worlds. She treated wealthy aliens with minor ailments. It was easy work. Boring but safe. She saw the video during a night shift. She watched it once. Then she stood up, walked to the captain, and resigned on the spot. The captain was baffled. "You have a 5-year contract," he said. "Break it," Minji replied. "Send me the penalty fees." "I don't care." Jinwoo was a cargo hauler, moving goods between systems in his small ship. He was alone most of the time, which he liked. Peace and quiet, no drama. He saw the video at a refueling station. He watched it on his data pad while his ship charged. When it finished, he walked to the station master and canceled his next 3 jobs. High-paying jobs, jobs he had been looking forward to. "Are you crazy?" the station master asked. "Those contracts have heavy penalties." Jinwoo was already walking back to his ship. He plugged in new coordinates. Zareth 7. He had never been there. He had no reason to go there. But he was going anyway. The aliens noticed something strange happening. Human workers across 17 systems were suddenly leaving their jobs. Not all of them. But enough. Enough to cause problems. Enough to ask questions. Station masters called emergency meetings. Ship captains found themselves short-staffed. Hospitals lost doctors. Engineering bays lost technicians. It made no sense. Humans were abandoning good positions, taking financial penalties, breaking contracts. What's wrong with them? A Velkari administrator asked his human assistant. The assistant, a young woman named Bowman, looked at him with eyes that held something new. Something that had not been there yesterday. "You wouldn't understand," she said quietly. Then she too handed in her resignation. The Velkari pulled up the video that seemed to be causing this mass hysteria. He watched Yuna beg. He watched Drennick refuse. He saw nothing unusual. A human had failed to earn credits and wanted free food. She was denied. That was how systems worked, rules, order, logic. "This makes them upset?" he asked Bowman before she left. "Upset?" Bowman laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "We're not upset. We're awake." She left without explaining further. She had a ship to catch. Zareth 7 was a long way away. On Zareth 7, Yuna knew nothing of this. She was on day 4 without food. She had managed to find some protein paste that someone had thrown away near the workers' cafeteria. It was expired, but it was food. She gave it all to Hana. Her daughter ate it slowly, her little face showing more life after having something in her stomach. "Thank you, Mama," Hana whispered. Yuna smiled. It hurt to smile. Everything hurt now. But Hana was eating. That was all that mattered. That night, something strange happened. Yuna's old data pad, a cheap device that barely worked, suddenly lit up with a message. She almost ignored it, thinking it was spam. But the header caught her eye. "Human network, secure." She opened it. The message was simple. "Sister, we saw what happened. Help is coming. Hold on. Please hold on." We're on our way. It was not signed. There was no name. Just those words. Yuna read it 3 times. She did not understand. Who sent this? What help? From where? She typed back, who is this? The response came quickly. Family. You don't know us. We don't know you. But we're family. We're coming. 2 weeks. Maybe less.
Keep her alive!
Keep both of you alive. We're coming. Yuna felt tears on her face. She did not know why. The message made no sense. But something about it made her chest feel tight. Made her throat close up. Made her believe just a little bit that maybe things could get better. 2 weeks, she whispered to sleeping Hana. We can do 2 weeks. But could they? She had no credits. No way to earn them fast enough. No food sources that did not require payment. She looked at her daughter's thin face and made a decision. She would find a way, even if it meant stealing, even if it meant begging at every door in the colony. She would keep Hana alive for 2 weeks. She had to believe someone was really coming. Up in orbit, ships were already arriving. Not many, just a few at first. Jinwoo was among the first. His small cargo ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. He immediately saw 3 other human ships on his scanner. He had never met their pilots, did not know their names, but he knew why they were here. He opened a communication channel. This is Jinwoo. I'm here for the mother and child, Tia Yang. A voice responded. Same reason. Minji, another voice said. Same. Hyun, same. They fell into orbit around Zareth 7 and waited. More ships arrived every hour. Some were small personal vessels. Some were rented shuttles. One was a medical transport that Minji had somehow convinced to divert from its route. Another was a massive cargo hauler that Suyuk, a human freight captain, had filled with food supplies purchased with his life savings. By the end of the first day, 20 ships circled the planet. By day 3 it was 50. By day 7 over 200 the colony authorities noticed. How could they not? Ships arriving with no cargo contracts, no business, just arriving and waiting in orbit. The station master of Elkari named Krenth, who also served as governor, sent a message to the ships. State your business or leave the system. The human ships did not respond. Krenth sent security ships to intercept. They found the human vessels just sitting there, engines on standby, weapons powered down. Doing nothing. Just waiting. What are they waiting for? Krenth asked his security chief. Unknown, Governor. They won't communicate. On the surface, Yuna managed to get through day 10. Hana was weaker. So was she. But they were alive. The mysterious messages kept coming. Short ones. Almost there. 5 more days. We're coming. She still did not understand who was sending them. But the messages kept her going. She started to believe. Really believe. People were coming. Humans were coming. For her. For Hana. For them. She just had to hold on a little longer. In orbit, Taeyang called a meeting on his ship. 20 human captains gathered in his cargo bay, connecting through video link. They had never worked together before. Most had never met. But they all agreed on one thing. We're 15,000 humans, Taeyang said, looking at the faces on the screen. They have 2 million beings on that colony. They have weapons. They have authority. They have the law on their side. We have each other, Hyun said simply. Everyone nodded. So what's the plan? Minji asked. Taeyang smiled. It was not a nice smile. We remind them that they need us more than they think. We remind them what happens when you hurt one of us. How? Someone asked. We take away the things they take for granted, Taeyang said. We show them what a galaxy without humans really looks like. The meeting lasted 4 hours. Plans were made. Roles assigned. Resources pooled. They had 2 days until everyone arrived. 2 days to get ready. On day 12, Yuna was at her breaking point. Hana could barely stand. She herself felt dizzy all the time. She had tried everything. Begged at more doors. Searched more trash, nothing. Then her datapad lit up one more time. Tomorrow, at dawn, look up. That was all it said. Yuna did not sleep that night. She held Hana and watched the window, waiting for the sun to rise over the red desert. When the first light appeared, she carried her daughter outside their small quarters. Other humans were emerging too, looking up at the sky with strange expressions. And then they saw it. Ships. Hundreds of them. breaking through the atmosphere in perfect formation. Human ships. All of them. Coming down like a silver rain, the colony alarms started blaring. Security scrambled. The governor's office erupted in chaos, but the humans on the ground just watched and smiled. They had come, all of them.